President Joe Biden putting those student loan payments on hold yet again. And now taxpayers are on the hook. In fact, one watchdog group putting the cost for this latest extension at another $40 billion. And it all comes amid a Supreme Court battle over his loan forgiveness push. Joining me now, constitutional lawyer Katie Cherkasky. Katie, you know, a group of states are opposing the plan, and they're asking the High Court yet again to just scrap it. How do you think it will go?
Well, this is a very serious separation of powers issue, and I think that the Biden administration has attempted to make this about fairness to those who took out these loans. But the bigger question here is really whether the administration has the legal authority to extend the statute that they're using for this loan forgiveness program to the extent that they're trying to. And I think that the Supreme Court is going to be very wary of that. Yeah,
apparently they're using the so-called HEROES Act, which forgave student loans for military members, back, and I think it was during during the Gulf War era. And I guess there's a part in there that says other emergencies or other periods of emergencies. What I find interesting is recently President Biden declared the pandemic was over. And so even with that in mind, where's the immediate emergency? So it feels to me, again, as a layman, that this is a bridge too far.
Well, I think that you're exactly right. And I think that it was a very creative interpretation to try to fulfill the campaign promise of canceling this debt through existing legislation that never contemplated it would be used to this extent with this much money on the line that's not only being erased for those with loans, but is being transferred to other taxpayers. And so in terms of the overarching optics of the situation, it comes down to a constitutional analysis of whether that legislation could reasonably be interpreted to allow for this funding by the executive branch. And I don't think the Supreme Court, again, is going to be very accepting of that from what I've seen.
Yeah, and then the notion of fairness, that's a whole different kettle of fish, particularly when most Americans don't have college degrees. What about kicking this can down the road? Apparently, there's one group now that says the math is at about $190 billion. And I don't know if eventually students have to pay that back, but can President Biden keep doing this until the 2024 election? I mean, is there a limit to how long he can keep this moratorium going?
I think that's the bigger question here. I mean, ultimately, there's two cases that are pending. And so if they continue to get rulings that are contrary to the administration's position that this program cannot continue, then I think at some point the buck is going to stop. But ultimately, President Biden is going to push this out as far as possible. He doesn't want to be the one holding the bag when the payments restart, because that's directly in contravention to what he's promised people. So at this point, he's extending it to the most significant amount he can. But when they have final rulings from some of these courts, I think that that's going to end that. He's ultimately going to have to continue to recoup these payments.
And of course, we've seen that with some of these other moratoriums, right? During this period, I think the rental issue, again, the administration got pretty creative with it, but ultimately a judge said, no, it doesn't work. I mean, what I'm concerned about is what happens if these kids or, young adults now, feeling like they were never going to have to pay this money back, actually went out and spent money and found, had this false sense of security. They may end up owing all this money, right?
Absolutely, they will. And I think that really when you're making these promises using, again, existing legislation, it's a very far reach. And I don't think that the Biden administration and their attorneys thought that this wasn't a far reach. I think that they wanted to push this out as much as they possibly can. But legally speaking and constitutionally speaking, it's on very shaky ground, and it always has been. Yeah. And I think that they're all probably very well aware of that.
Yeah. A cynic might say that they got what they really wanted out of it, and that was a pretty good midterm turnout. Katie, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.